Here in Lexington, the Urban County Council held their Environmental Quality and Public Works meeting this week, giving some updates about the city's sustainability plans and goals. First Alert meteorologist Alexa Minton attended that meeting, and she's breaking down what you need to know about the city's active green initiatives.
Back in 2008, the city of Lexington volunteered to be a part of the Cities for Climate Protection program. And in 2012, a plan was introduced called Empower Lexington with the tagline for a more resilient community. Now, over 10 years later, the city is revamping that plan.
As Chair Sheehan mentioned, the world has changed a lot in the last 12 years.
The city's Environmental Quality and Public Works Division received an update from the Empower Lexington plan this week, which is a resolution for the implementation of sustainable practices in our city.
We view the Empower Lexington plan as a key to becoming more energy efficient and a more sustainable community.
The plan has been divided into focused sections: materials and resources, natural systems and ecology, transportation and land use, quality of life, water efficiency, and energy and greenhouse gas emissions.
We looked at a variety of plans from other communities, trying to find a model that would let us advance Lexington-Fayette County and be able to compare ourselves just to see how we're doing.
The next steps consist of developing a strategy to meet their emission reduction goals, which are a greenhouse gas reduction target of 50% by 2030 and net zero by 2050.
You know, our proposals for our reductions, 50% by 2030 and net zero by 2050, are in line with national targets.
This proposed resolution gives this work even more strength and power, and it allows us to confirm our commitment to the goals and strategies that you all have put out here, which I think are absolutely obtainable.
For WKYT, I'm First Alert meteorologist Alexa Minton.
And to get a look at the city's plan, you can find the committee meeting packet on the LFCUG website. We'll have it linked for you inside this story on WKYT.com and inside the free WKYT News app.